You've been a councilwoman for almost 7 months. 7 months?
Yeah.
How do you like politics? And could you see yourself as, I don't know, maybe Mayor Turner one day?
One day. How do I like politics? So there's a lot of red tape, some of which sometimes I think yesterday I thought this is common sense. Why are we going at it all the way around here? And then I think like, okay, so there's a procedure to everything. I'm learning that in people, but I'm also learning that a lot of people do not want to deal with a long drawn out procedure. So let's figure out how we can make this clean, concise, and clear. And I feel like that's something that really just needs to happen in government overall. We need to begin to make more firm, educated decisions and be able to move forward instead of having, 17 meetings of just talk and then we start action after, because that just fatigues the service of anybody. And I say the service because, as a public servant, someone's asking you to do a job for them and you do it, and you got to do it happily. But it is hard when you are going months and months and months and not being able to produce an action for them. So politics is teaching me patience, and I am trying to show myself some grace as I learn and read book after book after book. If you're on a Zoom call, you could see my mouth moving like, did I see this? And me flipping through my pages. So I'm learning a lot, but I definitely think breaking down as many of those unnecessary layers as possible is something that I definitely want to change.
There hasn't been a woman married, right?
Yes.
There hasn't been.
There has not. Yes. So I'm getting to that little piece. So yeah, maybe one day. I'm taking this all in, and I'm learning, and I'm evaluating my time, and seeing if the next step is becoming the mayor of Youngstown. I love Youngstown, and I've made a choice to be here, and that's what when we have our young talent, whether you're gifted, you're young, gifted, black, white, Hispanic, any talent we have to retain it here, because they don't have to be here. Franklin County will gladly swoop you up,
And I would imagine part of your motivation is because you're raising a little boy here too.
Yes. And knowing I'm not raising a little boy, I'm raising a man. I am raising a whole man here in the city of Youngstown. So it's imperative that we do things right and things happen for him, that his neighborhood is beautiful, so that his friends want to come and play and he wants to come play, he can be proud of that. I want him to be proud of Youngstown. I don't want him to want to leave Youngstown. He says, well, if he wants to go away to school, I'm all for it because mom did it. You've seen me do it, and that's important. It's important for all of our children, especially young African American children, to see someone that looks like them making changes and making positive strides and doing things in their community. That means a whole lot. It means a whole lot to me. I know that what I can do because I've seen it. It goes so far just to do it. So I try to do my job well. I try to be prepared when I come in front of my constituents, when I come in front of council, when I sit in a committee meeting. I might over prepare, but I'm prepared, because if it's just one person watching me and saying, I want to do that, means the world. And they're like, and for them to say they want to do it, that might make them a better volunteer. That might make them a better homeowner. That might make them a better secretary, whatever they're at, whatever they're doing in life. If you see somebody that looks like you doing something and gives you a little bit of inspiration, that goes a long way. So yeah, becoming mayor might be in the cards one of these days. But right now I'm just learning and growing in this position and seeing what I can do as a legislator in this city. And that's really important, is making an impact where I am now.
On a more personal note, I know you're a vegetarian, you practice yoga. How important is that in your life? And what does that, I guess, give you? How does that help you even succeed in life?
This phrase is spinning around in my mind, self-love is the best love. And for a long time, I didn't practice that a lot, especially, going through the first couple of years with my son. He's only 3, but it was just all about him. What can I do? I gotta go to work, gotta make money, he needs clothes, he needs to have he needs his toys, he needs whatever he asks for, I gotta show him, I gotta be successful, I gotta do. And finally, he got to the point where he's calmed down a little bit, but I've calmed down a lot, where I'm saying, I'm gonna trust this process. I'm going to trust my father to provide inspiration to him. I'm going to trust my mother. I'm going to trust his father. I'm going to trust my family and my community and my friend base to give him all the things that he needs. And I'm going to give him as much love as I can pour into him, hug and kiss him. But I'm going to turn that back in on me as well. I'm going to make sure that I talk to myself well, because I tell one of my really good friends, if you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, you would have no friends. So I'm not gonna say, your hair looks awful today. These pants don't fit, you look terrible in them. You look terrible in those shoes. No, I'm gonna make sure I say something positive to myself. Yoga helps me to remain positive and grounded, and I don't practice nearly as much as I want to, but I practice enough, I learn, I read, I stay involved in that practice because it helps ground me and keeps me clean in that way. Vegetarianism, I've been a vegetarian now for 16 years, and it was like a turn on and off. And that's it. I said, I don't want to eat meat anymore, and I did it, and I haven't. And I'm just kind of one of those people that I do what I say I'm gonna do, and that's all. I said it out loud to somebody, and they can never say, Samantha started eating meat again. Nope, I've already told you that I'm going to do it, so I'm not doing it. That is just the healthiest way to live your life. I'm pretty green in my life. I love gardening. I am a terrible gardener. I gotta tell you, I've been gardening now for well over 12 years, and I get a little better, but a little worse, every year, it never.
That would be frustrating.
Yes.
To me, that would be hard to keep doing it, but you obviously get some sort of benefit from the process.
You know what, it's just the nature of growing food, plants. Some years I'm really great, I'm on it. Some years I'm okay, I planted a tomato plant and I planted 3 potatoes, and that's all I got in me this year. I weeded 4 garden beds, and that's all I can do. But some years I'm gangbusters. I'm feeling good. I'm growing food, but it's hard. It's hard labor that takes a lot of dedication and time. But I love to do it, and it makes me feel good. So if I only feel good for half of the summer, that's great. That goes a long way for the whole year. But being a vegetarian, growing food, going to farmers markets, that's something I'm really consistent about, talking to farmers and growers, that gives me so much energy and so much love. And because that if someone took the time to grow this and I took the time to talk to them about growing it, all of that love they put into that plant is just coming through that tomato, and it's coming through that lettuce and that apple. So, man.
I guess to wrap up, if there was 1 or 2 things that people took away from you after watching this interview, what would it be?
1, I love Youngstown, and I'm here to make it better, not just for me and my son and my family, but for my neighbors, for anyone who's thinking about coming back to Youngstown or just moving to Youngstown. I want Youngstown to be great, and we are great, but we can be so much greater. So that's number 1. And I just really, when I knock on your door to ask you to help, say yes, just say yes. And number 2 is take some time and get to know what's happening in Youngstown, and ask how you can help and how you can participate. I have to say that went a long way for me and helped me to see that coming home 10 years ago and making the choice to stay, that made the difference. Well, how can I help? And I was only really gonna help for a summer, and here I am 20 years later sitting in council chambers as a councilwoman.
Built for the 21st century American workforce, Eastern Gateway Community College has 2 campuses and is a national leader in online learning. EGCC.edu is a digital gateway where 30,000 students are quickly transforming their financial futures through degrees, certificates, transferable credits, and higher paying jobs. And now, residents of the Mahoning Valley can enroll in summer classes for free. It's the EGCC Summer Guarantee. Eastern Gateway. America's new workforce starts here.